Flea in the Ear by Stephen Wyllie, read by Janis for ABC. To read. Dog, the faithful guardian of a chicken coop, is plagued by fleas, so when a wily fox proposes a cure, Dog foolishly abandons the hens in his eagerness to rid himself of the problem. Naturally, the hens disappear, but Dog has a few tricks up his sleeve. One moonlit night, as the spotted dog was lifting the flaps on the side of the chicken coop to make sure the hens were all tucked up in bed, he heard a twig snap in the woods nearby. "I know you're out there, Fox," he barked. "Stay away from my hens." "Good evening," said the fox politely, sauntering leisurely into the farmyard. "Back off," said the dog, "or I'll bite." "You can't imagine for one moment that I would dream of taking one of your scrawny hens," lied the fox. "I much prefer a nice, fat, juicy duck." "Well, that's all right then," said the dog, scratching his fleas, "but just remember what I said." "I will," said the fox, edging closer. "I see you have a spot of flea trouble." "Oh, don't talk about it," said the dog. "At this time of year it's agony." "I never have any trouble myself," said the fox, "but then I know the secret that keeps them at bay." "What? You do?" asked the dog eagerly. "Please tell me." "I couldn't possibly," the fox replied. "It's a family secret, handed down from father to son for generations." "Oh, please tell me," pleaded the dog. "I'll give anything to get rid of my fleas." "Anything?" said the fox slyly. "Well, almost anything." "Well, I suppose I might be persuaded in exchange for 5 or 6 of your scrawny birds." "Definitely not," said the dog indignantly. "I'd lose my job." "Oh, well," said the fox, "suit yourself. Bye-bye." And he left the unhappy dog to scratch away for the rest of the night. The following afternoon the fox came back. "Good afternoon," he said. "Hello," growled the dog suspiciously. "I've been thinking things over," said the fox, "and I've decided to tell you the secret for nothing. I couldn't allow a fellow creature to suffer so much pain." "That's wonderful," said the dog. "What do I have to do?" "It's quite simple, really. You just trot over the hill, down the other side, through the gate and along the lane until you come to a pond. Walk into the water, and as it gets deeper the fleas will climb up your legs. Eventually only your head will be dry and all the fleas will be on it. Take a deep breath and dunk your head under the water and all your fleas will drown." "Brilliant," said the dog. "I'm surprised I never thought of that myself." "Off you go then," said the fox. "I'll watch the chickens while you're away. Just think of it, flea-free for the first time in your life." "I can hardly wait," said the dog, and he galloped off up the hill, down to the gate and along the pond to drown his fleas. As he lowered himself into the water, he was astonished to hear a voice in his ear. "I know you're about to drown us," said a flea, "but if you go back to the bank, we'll all jump off and promise never to bite you again." The dog paused for a moment. "Oh, very well, so long as you keep your word." He walked back to the bank, and all the fleas leapt off. The happy dog went home. When he got back, he found that the fox had vanished, and when he lifted the flaps, he discovered that his hens had too. "Oh no," howled the dog. "I'll lose my job. I'll be homeless." He lay down in despair. When he felt a little better, he noticed a trail of feathers leading into the wood. He got up and followed it until at last he came to the fox's den. He knocked on the door. The fox opened it. "Hello," he said, feigning surprise. "What brings you here?" "I just dropped by," said the dog, pretending to scratch, "to tell you that I went for your flea cure, but I couldn't get into the pond. It was full to the brim with fat, juicy ducks." "It was?" asked the fox, licking his lips. "Overflowing," lied the dog. "I'll try again later when they've gone. Bye-bye." "Goodbye," said the fox, and closed the door. The dog hid behind a tree. He hadn't waited long before the fox came out of his den with an empty sack slung over his shoulder, and after a quick look round, he slunk off towards the pond, only to find when he got there wasn't a trace of the fat, juicy ducks the dog said he'd seen. And while he sat there in disbelief, all the fleas who had so nearly drowned leapt joyfully but unnoticed onto his back. Meanwhile, the dog had broken down the fox's door, and there, sure enough, he found a squawking bag full of his chickens. He gathered them up and took them back to their coop, determined never to let them out of his sight again.